Today we are going to do the Q&A sessions, which include the chapter 9, genetic.
What is genetic and heredity?
Genetic is the study of heredity in plant, animal, protist, monorans, or fungi. It is also referred as a field of biology that involves in the study of descriptions of similarity and variations between parent and progeny, offspring. Heredity is a transmission of trait from parent to offspring, from one generation to another. Heredity unit is known as genes. Genes has a specific characteristic or traits, can be dominant or recessive. Each gene has a specific locations, also known as locus on chromosome. DNA carries the genes, stable the molecule that can be replicated. Mutation can be, however, that change the structure as well as trait that carried by DNA. Allele, alternative form of gene, a pair of genes that determine the trait. Way of identifying two members of gene pair that produce opposite phenotype. What is phenotype and genotype?
Phenotype is the physical characteristic that is shown by the organism or appearance of organism, which may or may not indicate all the genes that are present. Genotype referred to the combination of genes that involved in determining the phenotype.
What is homozygous and heterozygous?
Homozygous is a pair of alleles. Both alleles of a pair is identical. Heterozygous, a pair of different alleles, not identical alleles in a pair.
What is dominant and recessive?
Dominant is through genes or through characteristic that is observable in progeny, indicates by using capital letters. Recessive, gene that does not express true characteristic and not observable in progeny, indicate by using small letter.
What is hybridizations and hybrid?
Hybridization is a process of crossbreeding between two varieties of same species that are distinctly different in one or more traits. Hybrid, the offspring of hybridization.
What is clone and true breeding lineage?
Clone is the offspring from the vegetative reproduction, and all the progeny have the same genes with the parent. True breeding lineage, self-breeding, offspring of genetic crosses inherit a pair of identical alleles for traits, generation after generation. What is synapsis?
Synapsis, the pairing of homologous chromosome, one from each parent during early meiosis.
What is Mendel's monohybrid inheritance?
The study about the inheritance of a pair of contrasting traits. Mendel's inheritance principles are: first is Mendel's law 1, law of segregation, and second is Mendel's law 2, law of independent assortment, and the third one is law of dominance.
What is Mendel's law 1, law of segregation?
A pair of alleles for each trait that occur in any organism. The members of a pair are separated when the gametes are formed. Diploid cells have pairs of genes on pairs of homologous chromosomes. During meiosis, the two genes of each pair are separated from each other. As a result, they end up with different gametes, one allele of each genes. Result of Mendel's study: only dominant traits will arise in F1 generations. The recessive traits was inhibited by the dominant traits in F1 generations. Male and female contribute equally to the genotype of their offspring. When gametes fuse, Offspring acquire a total of 2 alleles for each genes, one from each parent. Each gamete contains 1 allele of each genes. Pair of alleles splattered during the formations of gametes. Genes do not blend together. The heredity determinants or genes maintain their integrity from generations to generations. They do not blend together and they do not acquire characteristics in the response to actions by an individual. Explain the Mendel's law 2.
In Mendel's law 2, two different traits are determined by two different alleles. Mendel was using Pisum sativum with two contrasting traits, round dominant and wrinkle recessive seed, yellow dominant and green recessive seed. In the F1 generation, all the offspring will have dominant traits. In F2 generation, 9 round and yellow, 3 round and green, 3 wrinkle and yellow, and 1 wrinkle and green. The phenotype ratio is 9:3:1. So that's all from us for this Q&A session, which includes chapter 9 genetic.